Welcome back to another Flush'em and Dustin podcast brought to you by Hunt Ready. I'm Tyler Melcher along with Nick Duran, and tonight
Hello.
we have Oliver Hartner on. He is based out of South Carolina. He is an upland hunter. He runs a Boykin. He has some articles in Cubby Rise magazine. So we're definitely excited to have Oliver on, learn more about his journey into the uplands, learn about his journey into writing, just talk dogs and all that other good stuff. So Oliver, if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure. So my name's Oliver Hartner, as these guys have already pointed out. I grew up in South Louisiana. I did a tour duty in Iraq. I was a combat veteran over there. I was a
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for your support.
Yep.
It took me years to figure out a good response to that. Someone offering, their gratitude for my service. But I finally found a good one. That
Yeah.
works. That works every time.
What branch were you in?
I'm United States Army.
Nice.
I was in the National Guard for the state of Louisiana, and our unit got called up, and so I went over in 2004. And back then, I was a reservist. I was in the National Guard, and so back then they had much longer deployments. Ours was a total of 20 months. So there was
wow.
there was a 6-month train up period at Fort Hood, Texas, and then another training at Fort Irwin, California, at the NTC National Training Center there to do desert run lanes that were set up to be sort of like an Iraqi village, that kind of thing.
Yep.
After a month of that, we got to Kuwait, spent a month in Kuwait, and then went to the theater of operations from Kuwait, and then spent 12 months there after all that front end stuff. So the total deployment was 20 months. And, I wouldn't change a thing. I did the one deployment, and then I got out though.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd seen and did enough to just.
Yep,
I wanted to get back to hunting and or being outside. I had to take a detour from hunting as well.
Yeah.
During undergrad, just had to get some things out of the way and get some disposable income in my pocket to get to hunting again. But my grandfather was a big time waterfowler down in South Louisiana, and he introduced me to hunting. But he kind of gave it up after he had diabetes, and his doctor had to say, okay, you can't shoot a shotgun. You could have a detached retina and lose your vision.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, I know. Yeah, he didn't want to give it up, but he had to. And so I took a hiatus, did a few dove hunts with my college buddies that kind of kept me going, kind of kept me interested. And then had a couple moved to South Carolina about 14 years ago, I guess. And then found a job and stayed. I love South Carolina.
Yeah.
A lot to do around here,
Nice.
sporting life wise, wing shooting and fishing. If you like saltwater fishing, this is one of the best places to do it. Whether it's and
It's the biggest fish. What are you catching down there?
Well, I was about to say, truth be told, I don't do a lot of fishing. I'm an opportunistic fisherman. In other words, when people have boat, I don't have all the accoutrement that saltwater fishing requires. It's somebody calling me and saying, "Hey, you want to go get a guide and go fishing?" And I'm sure, why not? So very casual, but mostly red fishing. I don't want to give a false impression of me being some saltwater angler. But I like going in the creeks with buddies of mine who live down there and have the stuff. There's a guy who makes belt buckles, hook and hide.
Okay.
He's an excellent saltwater guide, and a friend of mine. And I go down there with Tombo. Tombo Malden is his name.
Oh, that's a heck of a name.
Oh yeah, yeah. He fishes out out in near McClellanville, Cape Remain, that area. But catching reds, redfish, little salt creek fish. I enjoy that when I can.
Yeah.
I feel like if I picked that up, it would maybe take away from my wing shooting. That's where I like to focus my efforts.
Yeah.
Then writing. I mean, you gotta have time to write. So
That's right.
Yes.
What's out in South Carolina for wing shooting opportunities?
Well, so we have waterfowl here. So we're in the Atlantic Flyway. I'm the secretary at the state level for Ducks Unlimited.
Oh, very
Oh,
cool.
wow.
Yeah.
How long
So
you been doing that for?
I'm going into year 3 on the state committee as the secretary, and every year we have a huge fundraiser, SeaWee Southeastern Wildlife Expo, and they raise hundreds of thousands of dollars at that one event for waterfowl. People from all over the Southeast come to Southeastern Wildlife Expo, and that oyster roast is a really big event for us. So we've got we have waterfowl, mostly wood ducks. I got this guy over at my pond. He was one of the best condition. He was in the best condition compared to other drakes that I've taken. So I said, gosh, I don't have a wood duck. I need to get one. I love those things.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they are. They're beautiful, and boy, do they cook well. Man, I think
They are super good.
Oh man, I think that's one of the best eating waterfowl
I
there is.
I don't know if they're better than teal though.
Oh yeah,
teal that is some good cooking.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, you're speaking my language. Yeah, that both of those species are just excellent in the Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven. Man.
And I bet you coming from Louisiana and living in South Carolina, you got to be a good cook. You can't, they're known for their food.
I mean, I did win a shrimp and grits cooking contest, 2013, People's Choice, in Jekyll Island, Georgia, at their shrimp and grits festival.
Nice.
So
what's a shrimp and grit? What do you gotta do?
I have some bona fides to cooking. It's funny though. I mean, I have that, and then I do. It's one of the things I love actually about wing shooting is the fact that you can take something from the wild and make it into a meal and have that connection, connectedness to the resource. You're not just an observer of nature; you're a part of that process by hunting and wing shooting.
Yeah.
And, culinary art is another good segue to recruiting people into the sport.
It is
that and gun dogs. Like these handsome breeds we all have. People want to know what that dog can do, and say, "Well, I'll show you."
Yeah, exactly. We actually had
one of my favorite things right now is I just got Jet, who's a poodle pointer.
Oh wow!
I was like, oh, this beautiful GSP because he doesn't have his furnishings on his face yet. I'm like, oh, he's not a GSP, he's a poodle pointer. I'm like, oh, what? And so I actually love it. And I'm like, oh yeah, back in 1881, they took this German hunting poodle and English pointer, and they're like, get out of here. I'm like, it's a whole certified breed, and I had to sign my life away. Basically, I was going to hunt it, everything.
Right.
So it's pretty cool, like to tell that story, and I love that people don't know what he is, or like, so would you just breed a poodle and a pointer? Is that what you did? I was like, no. I did not start this.
No. This is long before me.
That's what I got. I got asked that today. They're like, "Oh, so did you just do that yourself?" I was like, "No, not do that myself."
Yeah,
that's funny.
So we also, I guess, I was tell you other opportunities. We have a lot of mourning dove is a big is a big. It's almost like I would liken it to the Glorious 12th over in Britain. Uh, Labor Day weekend is for wing shooters is like, this is it. This is the beginning of
Yeah.
fall for us. And wing shooting is morning dove hunts over a field of sunflowers, and then afterwards a big barbecue. That's a
Nice.
very
That's fun.
yeah, with all your buddies. Everybody's out there running their dogs. It's very casual, very light. It's just a lot of fun, and then you can get a gentleman's limit of doves, which for me is 10. I know you can shoot 15, but I'm not into the. I'm like, if I get 10, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's plenty.
Do you guys
Yeah.
do you guys
What's
start
that?
September? Do you start September 1st, or is it actually Labor Day weekend?
In South Carolina, it's Labor Day. So
Okay.
opening day for us will be Monday.
Yep.
But there's so that's another opportunity. And a lot of people forget about the doves after the teal start coming in
Yeah.
around here late September, early teal. We have a seasonal early teal here, and they'll kind of forget about the doves. But I tell you, I went on a late season dove hunt one year, about 2 years ago, and it was one of the best dove hunts I've ever been on. They were all migratory, so it was late October.
Yeah.
There was a cold snap that came through, and there just was a big flight of doves come down, and it was one of the best I've ever been on. Usually you're dove hunting here in the Southeast, and it's just, oh my God, the heat is it's tough.
I bet.
Brutal. It's like, literally, and there's no, you're not in the shade really.
Yeah.
It's 90 degrees. You're sweating. You got a camo shirt, drab colored hat, and shorts, and you're sprayed a bunch of at least I do, bug spray to keep the red bugs off you
Yep.
from biting the heck out of you. So yeah, but it's brutal, but it's so worth it. It's so much fun. And but past that, doves are still coming. But the thing about migratory doves is you got to shoot them then and there,
Yep. They're gone.
because they're not going to be around the following day. And we just happened to catch a flight of migratory doves, and they were gigantic, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So there's dove hunting, there's quail hunting. Now there are a lot of quail preserves.
Okay.
We don't have a large population. Oh, let's put it this way. Pavla Babcock was he was something of a bard about quail hunting. He actually was an English professor at the University of South Carolina and wrote prolifically about quail hunting. And he lamented back then, and this was in the 50s, 60s ish, mid-century, mid 20th century. He was lamenting quail hunting on the decline back then, and I'm like, man, that was the heyday.
Yeah.
We get told that all the time on pheasant hunting here. Oh, back in my day, we just didn't even need a dog. We'd go out and walk 10 minutes and shoot 3 birds and be done.
Yeah, I know. And it's just not that way anymore. But what we have to do as Southeastern quail hunters, at least on public lands, or hunting wild quail in general in the Southeast, if you're not cultivating those coveys and cultivating your land for them, and you're just doing the public ground thing, they are there, but you will burn a lot of boot leather finding them.
Yep.
And you're not going to make a meal of them. You might flush a covey or two a day, not
Oh wow.
Yeah, not a covey or two an hour, but a covey or two a day. So it's almost, I would liken it to, it's almost kind of like a northeastern grouse hunter, public land quail hunting in the Southeast. But, you got to change that mentality. I think we have to change our mentality around quail hunting, in that we're not there to make a meal of it. We're there to watch the dog work. We're there to hear the birds, see the birds, get a chance at shooting a bird, and if we do, that's awesome, and if we don't, that's okay too. We just have to change our expectation. But if you can manage your expectation, public land quail hunting is another opportunity around here. And again, if you want a sure thing, there are the preserves. They have lots and lots of preserve quail here in South Carolina. And I would say for wing shooting, that would just about oh God, I almost forgot woodcock.
Yeah.
We have woodcock. We have good flights of woodcock down here. Again, you got to know where to go and where to look, but we find a good number of them on public ground around here.
How many will you see in a day, roughly? So we've only seen one in Iowa when we went. We got it too, but
that's good. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to flush lots of them, but if there's a lot of splash around and a lot of boreholes, if you're seeing a lot of boreholes in the ground and there's splash on the cane cover, like the little bamboo shoots, they're about that tall about yay tall out of the ground. And around creek bottoms and such, you can flush, you may not get them all, but you may flush 3-4 a day, and it's good. The good thing about them is they kind of settle back down, not too far. So you can keep pursuing them until you once you flush one, you can pursue that one until you get a better shot or whatever. Because they do tend to, around here at least, they do tend to stick around the thicker areas down in those creek bottoms. I'm sure they're the same. I mean, I'm sure it's the same for you guys. I mean, a woodcock's a woodcock, whether it's in South Carolina or anywhere, I guess. But we usually start getting them. We start getting them. Well, depending on the weather, really. But I guess December is probably the better flights. December, January, and then we're zipping it up by end of January.
Yeah, you guys seem like you're just a bit behind us for dates. So we have, I think you can only hunt woodcock into it's either the very beginning of December or November. But like when I've seen them, they've all been around the November time frame and maybe a little bit in October. But
gotcha.
I actually saw some. It was June maybe this year.
Wow.
In Iowa, I saw 2 of them. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, what the heck? I've never, I figured they were all way north, but yeah, we kicked up 2 of them. There's just like a state-owned ground by me, or I think it's the Army Reserves ground, or the God, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but it's just all wetland area, and lo and behold, we're just walking out there because they have a nice path that you can just walk, and whatnot. Yeah, and 2 woodcocks flew up. I was like, wow, that was crazy to see in the middle of summer.
That is amazing, man. To have them down, that is cool. Super cool. Yeah, I'm always kind of keeping my ear to the ground and looking around for some good cover to kick around and see if I can stir one up. More often than not, I don't stir any up.
But they're a fun little bird.
Yeah.
Oh, they are, and
they're cool.
They are, and they're wild. They're not a released bird. And they actually eat. Again, getting back to the culinary thing, they taste really well.
What's a good way to cook them? Do you have a good one?
My friend does from Louisiana. Fella I like to bird hunt with. He and I were actually high school chums, and we lost touch for several years. But I met up with him again while I was visiting my father, who still lives in Louisiana, and we connected again. I was wearing a Covey Rise hat,
nice.
And he said, "Oh, what do you know about that?" I was like, "Oh, I write for this magazine." He's like, "Oh, really? Oh." And so yeah, we reconnected over that, and I've actually gone quail hunting with him on public ground in Louisiana and Oklahoma, and
Ooh,
have been successful with him there. And we went he cooked our woodcock both times in a French sauce, au jus, spelled AU and then JUS, right?
okay.
So au jus. I just want to make sure I didn't sound strange over the
Yeah,
mic, so I'd spell it. And my French is bad. I have bad French, so um,
I don't have any, so
Me
he
neither.
he cooked an au jus sauce. He cooked those woodcock in au jus sauce. He Now we didn't do the aging thing like they do overseas, where you age them and you wait till the head's about to, you hang them from their heads and you age them until they're about to just fall from,
Yep.
it's ready when the head and the body separate.
yeah,
Yeah, none of that. We cleaned them up.
Yep.
We drew them and plucked them, and he did them over an open fire in this au jus sauce. I don't know exactly what it had in it, but I know it had some beer. It has
nice.
a lot of spices
Can't
and
go wrong with that.
yeah, I cannot. Yeah, that's a good ingredient. Had a little beer, a little some spices, salt, your salt, your pepper, your garlic. I want to say he might have put onion, of course. Uh, let's see. I'm not sure everything else he put in there, but it was very savory.
Nice.
But it didn't overpower the meat. When I've interviewed a lot of chefs, and they all hate the word gamey because it's true. It's just the flavor profile. That's what meat tastes like, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what meat is supposed to taste like, not this colorless, odorless, tasteless stuff you buy in a package at a grocery store. I
Yeah.
think people are so accustomed to that flavor that they don't really know what meat really tastes like.
I
I
would
agree.
agree with that.
I mean,
It's all
gosh,
full of preservatives and all that
right.
other junk, and
I
Quite
know a guy
unfortunate.
who was, just not to get off topic, but he was trying to fatten up his beef. So he ended up getting a load of gummy worms that were bad from like
Uh,
a factory that makes them. And then they ate them, fattened them up like that, and then he butchered them.
wow.
Yeah, and my parents got some of the meat and said it was the worst meat they've ever had. I was like, well, yeah, they just ate fucking 3 tons of sugar.
Sugar.
It's
Yeah.
like, geez.
Like 3 tons of corn syrup, not even
Yeah,
sugar,
corn
not even
Yeah.
real
syrup
sugar.
and
It's junk.
yeah.
Oh man. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, like you
Gosh.
get that, and you think of that farmers are doing that just to fatten their cows up. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
There is a regrettable disconnect uh between what people put in their bodies and in the resource. It's so regrettable. And I feel like if we could just, I feel like again, that's just to me, that's just one of several avenues to recruit people to our sport, is teaching them about real food and where real food comes from and what real food is.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, I mean, I
That's
know
what
that, yeah, go
that's
ahead.
what got me kind of recruited into waterfowl
Yeah.
is I never waterfowl hunted growing up or anything. And um, last year was like my first big year into it. And I enjoy it. So I love goose. I make it into goose jerky and it is just phenomenal. Like better than beef jerky, and ever since then it's like, man, my wife, she takes it to work with her all the time. It's just a great snack. And like I said, I don't think I would waterfowl hunt if I didn't like the way they taste.
Right. Oh yeah.
Wouldn't
There
be
was a
intriguing.
there's a chef out of Louisiana I interviewed for Covey Rise. His name is Corey Barr, and he talked at length in that issue and in this article about you know hunting and getting your protein from the resource. And he said, it's okay if you hunt something and you wind up, it's not your favorite, right? As long as you can make it taste good, good enough to eat it, and if you want to shoot them, if you want to shoot more of them, make them good enough to eat. And if you can't make them good enough to eat, just don't shoot any more of them.
Yep.
Right. This
Yep.
is, I know some people will turn their nose at a Canada goose, but like yourself, Canada goose makes a really fine meal, and we'll take them and put them on a smoker, and then I'll make like now it's rich. You don't necessarily want to do this. You don't necessarily want to eat too much of it, but I'll make like a we have chicken salad. Instead of a chicken salad, I'll make like a goose breast, a
Okay.
goose, not just the breast, but the whole bird. We'll quarter the bird up and smoke it all. But
Nice.
make a salad out of it, like a spread that you can spread on
Yep.
sandwiches, and it's like a curried, and it's curried, so it's got like some nice Indian flavor to it as well. And man, I'll bring some of that. I make it out of.
I might have to get that recipe from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds
I'd be
pretty good,
happy to
actually.
share it. And I'll take any game bird really that's smoked,
Yep.
smoked well. And you can do this with any of them, and any part of it, like the dark meat, like a turkey, a wild turkey. I don't breast out a wild turkey. I pluck them whole. I don't. To me, that's just too much waste to
Yep.
just throw. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be, holier than thou to those who just breast their turkeys out. I'm not trying to do that at all. I just I pull the feathers, all of them, and I
Yep.
take my time to do that, and I'll just smoke that thing whole, but not, just not the whole bird per se, but quartered up first, because you
Yep.
don't,
Yep.
because it'll cook, you will wind up with dry, dark meat if you try to keep the bird whole and just put the whole bird in the smoker.
Yep.
Smoke that bird, take that dark meat that might be a little tough for some, moisten it up, put it in that game meat salad that you can spread on a cracker, spread on a sandwich. I brought that to a New Year's Eve party, like a really big bowl of it. I mean, I'm talking, I don't know exactly, maybe, oh God, I wish I had the bowl with me so I could turn it over and look at the bottom to tell you exact. But it was a pretty nice size dish.
Yeah.
Completely empty. People were like taking crackers and scooping it like the little remains off the edge. I mean, I was like, gosh,
Damn.
I barely have to wash it. That's great.
I need that recipe. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, glad. I'd be glad to
It
send
does sound good. It does sound good.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll send it.
How
Just
did
remind me. Just email me.
how'd you get
Remind me to
into
send
writing
it.
for? How'd you get into writing for Cubby Rise?
Oh, I've been writing for Cubby Rise for, let's see, I think since 2017. So about 5 years now, I guess. No, was it 2018? 2018, yes, 2018 was my first published article with them. Hard to believe it was that long ago, but yeah, I got a really lucky break with them. Uh, I met them at Seawee. They had a booth there, and I was wearing an Ole Miss hat. And some of the folks that work at the magazine, and I was already subscribed. I knew what the magazine was, and I'm like, oh, there's Covey Rise. Wow, let me check them out. So I went to the booth, and I was wearing my Ole Miss hat, and they said, I like your hat. I said, well, I love your magazine. And we just struck up a conversation. And I was writing for I was writing hook and bullet stories for a smaller publication, a local publication, City Social magazine. And I was even before that, I was writing for nothing. So I guess you could say before Cubby Rise, I had done some writing. And I talked to him, and they said, well, yeah, send us some of your work. And so for the next 2 years, I sent them pieces of work, and I didn't get a response, but I just kept sending them. And then eventually I got a phone call that said, hey, we might have an assignment for you. Can you be in Sylacauga, Alabama at Purcell Farms in a week? And I said, yeah, I can do that, because I had some vacation time from work. So I did. I I went down there and I did the interview for Purcell Farms. Orvis had recently opened their wing shooting school. One of their wing shooting schools. They have three now. They have one in Vermont and then one in Sylacauga, and I think they've got another. I don't know where the other is. But they just recently opened it, and yeah, and I guess I did a good job, and they've been calling me back ever since. So
Nice.
yeah, that's how I got my
Awesome.
break with them. That was a really lucky break, and I still love writing for them. They're a great group, and I've also been able to have had opportunities to write for Shooting Sportsman, which is also a very nice publication.
Yeah.
Storied group of guys. I love working with the editor. Ralph Stewart is another. He's a fantastic editor. Really, just a true gentleman. Really enjoy working with him. Um, I've gotten to do some really fun stories and really neat stuff with them here recently in the past year. Um, and I was introduced to them through Reed Bryant, another writer for Covey Rise. Reed is he is a fantastic writer. Like there's Reed Bryant here, and there's Oliver Hartner.
Not even on the screen.
Yeah, like way up. He's way up, and I'm like, I'm like, show me
Yeah.
Sensei, kind of. Yeah, he's awesome.
That's awesome. That is cool.
Nice.
How
And
many?
I've got and there's several writers out there that I really admire their work. Russell Worth Parker's another fabulous writer. Really love his work. He's been in Garden and Gun and some other publications. Shooting Sportsman is a publication he's actually been in as well. Chad Love for Quell Forever Journal. I've actually written for them. I've gotten a byline with them through Chad Love, who's another excellent writer and excellent editor, and always appreciate being able to work with him and also read his work. So there's just some of my
Yeah.
favorites out there.
How many?
Yeah.
How many opportunities or publications do you usually get in a year? Do you think?
Oh gosh. It keeps going up every year, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's really awesome to be. But I'd say I get at least so let's say Covey Rise, they're a bi-monthly, so they only have 6 issues a year. I usually wind up getting into at least 2 of them, if not
Okay.
3.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good ratio. I'm really fortunate for that. Shooting Sportsman is the same way. Usually I'll get into anywhere between I just started writing for them recently as of last season. So but I was in 3 of their issues, and I'll be coming into I've already got some stuff in the works for them as well. Same with Covey Rise.
Nice.
And then Quell Forever, I'd say, they're actually a quarterly, and I'm usually in 1 or 2 of their issues. So a quarterly is published, 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yep.
And I'll get in at least 1 or 2 of those issues. And then I've gotten I've recently got gotten bylines in Rough Grouse and American Woodcock Society. They're also a quarterly, and I've gotten into 2 of their issues.
Very cool.
So yeah, and I've got a few. Yeah, so those are some really fun opportunities. And I've gotten a lot of opportunities through these books to do some things that I would not have been able to do otherwise.
Yeah. Do they like kind of send you the assignment, or is it like you create your own like topic?
So it's a little of both. I'll send them pitches. Might send them a slate of pitches or ideas that I have, and they'll either say thumbs up, thumbs down. And if they give the thumbs up, we work out, the trip and how that all the deal is going to work. If it's thumbs down, I might pitch it to another book, or I might throw that. Maybe it's not such a good idea, and I just can it,
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of both. So sometimes they'll call me, like if they're in a pinch, if they had some other something fall through, and if I've got something in the hopper that I can just whip out real quick and say, well, I've got this, and all you've got to do is get the photography for it, kind of thing. They'll do that. So it's kind of a mix, I guess, is a good answer.
Yeah.
And in the industry, so they're usually working, and I didn't know this until I kind of got behind the curtain, and saw how the sausage was made, but they're usually working like 18 months,
Oh, wow.
12 to 18 months in advance. Yeah. Yeah. So stuff that you're reading in your book, in your magazine, was hashed out way, way, way in advance. I'd say no less than 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have to at that point when you're coming out with so many publications and so many magazines. You got to have it figured out, planned out.
Yeah, so, it's got to be planned out. You've got to have it. Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot that goes in because you've got to get everything together to go to the printer by this date to get the book to your subscribers on time. It's
yes.
It's like, you've got to work out way, way, way in advance to make that happen. It's not, oh, let's just throw this magazine together in, 2 or 3 months and it'll get out there. And yeah. And so my writing, I try to work, when I've got a deadline coming up, I try to work at least a month in advance on a draft. I like having a full draft. So let's say I'm writing something that's got to be 2,000 words. I'll start it whenever I start it. I have my deadline. It's a month. I'll start it a month before my deadline.
Yep.
And it will go through many, many drafts before it goes to the magazine. Like I don't just sit down in a weekend and bang this thing out on a keyboard. That's not how
not like high school.
Not like high school. No. When those people are, because and you got to do better for the reader. Like there's so many things out there that can people in the 21st century have a tyranny of choice when it comes to how to spend their time. So as a writer, I like to say they've chosen to spend their time with me. So I want to write them a fine story because they're given their time, their valuable time. Time you can't get it back. You can only have so much. So you got to spend it wise. And these people are spending their time reading something that I wrote. So I want it to be really, really good. I want it to be the best that I can make it by the time it goes to print. Now, some of my stories are better than others because you got to work with what you got. But you owe it, in my opinion, you owe it to the reader to do the absolute best that you can because they're not watching Netflix. They're not, scrolling through social media. They are with you reading your work because they care and they have chosen to spend their time with you. And that to me is very important. So I really try to do the best job that I can. So I start a draft a month in advance and it goes through several edits. When I can, I like to have input from the subject of the article. In other words, if I'm writing an article about a chef or, Cubby Rise loves chefs that shoot. Like they were always looking for chefs that shoot. So I want to get their input because generally there's, somewhat, a lot of them are celebrity chefs beyond, I want their input. I don't want to put something out there that they're not going to like.
Yep.
And that goes not just for the chefs that shoot, but for any subject of the article. Anybody that appears in my articles, I like to have their input just to make sure little things are correct and to their liking. Especially when I'm quoting somebody, I just like to have that feedback because, I'm not an investigative journalist, right? I can show you my work before it goes to print. I'm doing, this is something that celebrates someone. Usually I'm writing something that celebrates what somebody else does for the sport of wing shooting or for the culinary arts, or I'm telling a story about my friends and I on a hunt. So it's not like they can't read this before it goes to my editor. In fact, it's better if they do read it before it goes to my editor. It just makes a story. So I like to do that. So that'll be like generally draft number 2. And then just like when you're cooking something low and slow on the heat, I like to let it rest.
Yeah.
I like to let it rest. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it for a week. And then that week before I send it to the editor, I pick it back up and I can read it with a very critical eye to make sure every word is in the right place, every sentence is in the right place, that there's a good flow to it. So after all of that, it goes to an editor.
Nice.
So that's my process.
Wow.
I won't bore you
It gives,
anymore.
it gives a whole different perspective on like what you do and what you go through and how you write. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Well, I mean, that's how I write. Now there are writers who do it different, but that's how I do it. And every writer's got their own way of doing it and their own reason for doing it. So that's,
Did you go to school for like English arts or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an undergraduate. I actually had 2 undergraduate degrees from the University of Mississippi. Ole Miss is a affectionate name. We're number 1 in college baseball. But this year at least.
Yeah.
Next season. But no, I hold an undergraduate degree in English and an undergraduate degree in classical studies.
Oh, nice.
So, the antiquities, Greek, Latin, classical literature, thing. Yeah. I felt, for ages that was an education. That was all they had.
Yeah.
From the classics spawns law and medicine and ministry, clergy, all that. It's from the classics. So yeah, I have 2 undergraduate degrees. I actually had enough hours because I did a victory lap as an undergrad. I just, Oxford, Mississippi is a fun place, and I wanted to spend a little more time there. I did the fraternity thing, and that was great.
Nothing wrong with a little extra college.
Yeah, a little extra bonus. So I did a victory lap, and I wound up with enough hours. I wound up with enough undergraduate hours to wind up with 2 diplomas.
Nice.
2 undergraduate,
nice.
And not just a double. See, I thought I was a double major, but they said no, Mr. Hartner, you got 2 diplomas. You have 2 diplomas. So I thought that was pretty. So I can legitimately say I have 2 undergraduate degrees in liberal arts, which a lot of people would consider useless. But
well, it's led you to some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
mean, I've gotten to do things again that I would not have been able to do otherwise. In a recently published article in Shooting Sportsman, I was able to go quail hunting at one of Ted Turner's ranches, hunting desert quail in New Mexico.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, writing has gotten me there. If I wasn't a writer, I would never have been able to do that kind of thing.
That is super cool. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was like kind of pinching myself. Oh, is this real? This is so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did not get to meet Mr. Turner, but I'm friends with his son. I'm a friend of his son, Rhett, and we worked together on that piece.
Very nice.
And I met him. I met him through a Cubby Rise piece that I was doing. So there you go.
Yeah.
I would not have been able. I mean, I met him at Primland in Virginia, another beautiful venue and beautiful place to experience in Southwest Virginia, where I got to shoot driven pheasant with a Purdy shotgun. Another experience that I would not have had otherwise without being a writer for these publications.
Yeah, that's crazy cool. Sounds like
it is crazy.
It's opened up a lot of avenues for you.
Oh yeah,
which is
it has.
awesome.
very, very thankful and fortunate to be able to do these things. And I've been able to meet Reed Bryant, meet him in person, somebody whose work I admire greatly. Got to meet him through Covey Rise.
Yeah.
So like
Nice.
yeah, absolutely.
So you're so when you go to like these new places, you probably see different breeds of dogs and whatnot, and
Sure.
you're running a Boykin.
Yeah.
So what's drawn you to the Boykin, and do you think when you go around to these places, what do you think of like the other dogs that you see?
Oh man, dogs, everybody's got a different dog for a different kind of reason. My reasoning for a Boykin was I wanted a dog that was, a really handsome breed, but also not too large. And because I don't live in I live in a city, and
Yep.
I needed a dog that was small enough to be kind of a couch potato buddy, but also go hunt some doves, hunt some quail, woodcock kind of thing with me. So I needed a smart breed, and so I needed a medium-sized smart breed. Uh, has a high IQ, that trainable, biddable, a very biddable dog. And that just, I was introduced to a Boykin Spaniel through my friend Margaret Ellen, who had one, and she didn't hunt with this particular Boykin at the time. She didn't get him trained. He was more or less just a pet, but I like that dog a lot, um, and then I saw another Boykin that actually hunted, and I said, well, that's, and then I found out it was the state dog of South Carolina. And then all these things started, and then I did more research into the Boykin Spaniel. I said, how could I live in South Carolina and not have one of these dogs as a hunting dog?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
lo and behold, I wound up with a Boykin, and I actually wound up doing a Covey Rise article about Boykin Spaniels here recently. You might be able to find it online, but I know it should be. It's in the. Let me see, what issue is this?
Yours wasn't the one regarding like them turkey hunting, was it?
Yeah, it is.
Is
Yeah,
that yours? Okay.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
read
do.
that. Yeah.
They were bred for fall. So back when South Carolina had a fall season, the Boykin would flush the flock into the trees, and hunter would call the dog back to him and hide him in a burlap bag, and they would dock the tail, so that because the tail would rustle the leaves as
Oh
it was
yeah.
flagging, so they would dock the tail. And so anyway, so the dog would flush the turkey into the trees. The hunter would sit 100 yards from where they flush, go turn around, call the dog back, go set up, and then call the flock back down to him. Do like a assembly call, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
shoot the turkey. But back then you could shoot hens, you could shoot jakes, you could shoot toms, you could shoot any turkey that you wanted back then. There were a lot of them, and then they almost went extinct. And then they brought them back, and but when they brought them back, there was no fall season. I don't know. I can't say with accuracy when South Carolina did away with their fall season. I'd have to look that up, but there are people in other states that do have fall seasons that do use Boykin Spaniels to turkey hunt, and they
Man, that's
use that
crazy.
method. They use that
That's
method.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool to
Awesome.
see.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to see it, actually. That's one of the things I'd love to see, a Boykin Spaniel turkey hunt like they did about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
crazy.
that's what they were originally bred for, alongside quail hunting as a flushing dog and woodcock as a flushing
Yep.
dog, and waterfowling in sheltered water. They're not going to be able to swim the Chesapeake Bay, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're great for wood duck hunts and shallow sheltered water. They'll give a lab a run for their money, um, in that kind of water for waterfowling. They like to swim. They really do. You don't have to.
Yep.
You don't have to teach them. Though my Boykin, she will not go in the water unless it's for a mark. Like she's really, really birdie, but she doesn't necessarily like being wet. But she'll go in the water for a bird. And I actually got her to retrieve a Canada goose form,
Nice.
which
Gotta
is
be as
about
big as
half
her.
her
Wow.
size. Yeah,
How much does she weigh? Do you know?
she's 30 pounds.
So not much. So a little bit bigger than a goose. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Boy, she was like the little engine that could going out and getting that thing, man. I was just so proud of her. Like the buttons on my shirt were just popping off. Like, oh my God, my chest was busting with pride. Like, oh man, look at what this dog can do. And I trained her myself. So I accept full responsibility for the deficiencies of her gun dog education. She's not, in other words, she doesn't exactly deliver to hand. She's not a very polished retriever, but she just gets the job done, and she's mostly a couch potato. As am I. But yeah, she's more, she's my hunting buddy, and that's what I wanted. I've never run her in any kind of hunt trial or field trial, though I believe that she would be quite a competitor, and sometimes I do regret. I feel as though I might have done her a disservice by not at least getting a novice title put on her. But but she's birdie, and I take her hunting, so she gets it. She runs toward gunfire.
All matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't run away from gunfire. She runs toward it. She likes it. So
How does she do on the woodcock in the woods?
So she and I have not been successful at it, but we've been successful on quail hunting, and she works really well with I went on a public land. I was just saying earlier, I went on public land quail hunt in Louisiana, and my buddy runs a trio of English setters, and among those setters, she just fell right into the pack, and I was able to call her back to heel. She didn't quarter too much. Basically we had those setters running, open, running out. They were ranging out, and she was kind of quartering between us and them, like in the middle there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm able to control her with a whistle pretty good. So yeah, she was quartering, between them and us. And when they went on point, I'd call her back to heel, closer to heel, and we would make our way to the setters. They're honoring, and they're all honoring. Like, we know there's so covey there. And then she would come to heel, and then I would, get her calm, and then get everybody up and ready. Like, you get here. That's what's great about having pointers and flushers. You can get everybody set. If you're doing pure flushing dogs, man, it's a different experience. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do it. I don't know if I could be successful. To me, there just aren't enough wild quail out there to just do just a flushing dog. But I'm sure there's people that do, and I'm sure they probably bag a lot more birds than I would. But anyway, she waited calmly, and then when I released her, she just slammed into those briars and through that thick stuff, and there was just coveys of quail, just boom, they would just blow up in the air. We get one or two, and then go see where the singles went. She had such a ball, and she was just torn to pieces by the briars, but did not give a damn.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
she just loved it. I mean, she just loved it. And my wife was like, "Well, I hope you didn't hurt her." I said, "No, she's she's
the heart
hurt,
of a bird
is
dog.
a good kind of hurt. Like, she loves this stuff. She loves this stuff. Like, all those scabs will heal over, but she just loved it. And I as far as what a boykin can do, I'll say a boykin can do better than a lab is in a dove field. That's where a boykin can do much better. They're so much more heat tolerant than a Labrador, because they don't have that. Yeah, they don't have that really thick undercoat. So early season dove hunts, they do super well in a dove field.
Yeah,
that's where they really, really shine. Otherwise, a English cocker, they achieve about the same. They're same size, same temperament, I would imagine, or similar temperament at least, as an English Cocker. If I had to say, if I had to pick a sporting breed that's similar, I'd say English Cocker.
Yeah.
And the Boykin Spaniel also is one of 3 domestic sporting breeds. All other sporting breeds descend from either the continent of Europe or Great Britain. Yeah.
Did
So
not know that.
the Chesapeake Bay Retriever, the Boykin Spaniel, and the American Water Spaniel.
Really?
Yep. Those are the only 3 sporting breeds that are from the United States.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool information.
That is cool information.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. The Chesapeake Bay Retriever.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
Chesapeake Bay.
Oh, and Chessies, man, there's something else too. I've met a few people that have had them. They are very, very territorial about their owners. They
Yeah.
are like,
That's what I've heard.
yeah, they are. And
Well, didn't they used to use them? I remember reading something. They used to use them back in the day when duck hunters would get, they'd come back with their boats and they'd go somewhere and they'd leave their ducks on the boat. They leave the dog there for protection, so that way, other hunters wouldn't come steal their ducks.
I could see in the old market hunting days where you'd want to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, somebody else is going to get your haul, and
Yep.
you'll be
SOL.
poorer for the you'll be a lot poorer for the effort. But
Yep.
no, yeah, that but another handsome breed is a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. They are just beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
And big one. I've seen some monsters out there, and you talk about just swim. Oh my gosh, those things, they can swim some treacherous water from what I hear. I've never, I mean, truth be told, I've never seen one in action, but I know they're a handsome breed. I've known some people that
I haven't. I've heard they're hard to train, but I don't know if that's true or not. They're just stubborn, very stubborn dogs.
I could see that.
Like a meal.
So Boykins are hard-headed somewhat and soft-hearted. So they're really eager to please, but and they're biddable for the most, but you got to kind of negotiate. It's kind of a negotiation. They're really smart. They're really, really smart. And so they kind of want to do things their way. So if you want them to like take a line to the mark and come right back, that takes some training and some doing.
Yeah.
If you use an e-collar, you run the chance, and I did not, because I had never used one before. I had never trained it. She's the first dog that I've trained to be something other than a pet. So I didn't want to. I was afraid I'd burn her up if I used an e-collar, because I just don't know. I just didn't know what I was doing. What I'm saying is I don't necessarily have anything against e-collars. I just did not know what I was doing with one, and therefore I did not want to use one. And there are some things there's some gaps in her training that I couldn't address with her food motivation. She's food motivated, so I just fed her from my hand. Like, she got her food from my hand for the first, good, I don't know, 4 months of her life. Like, and then I, kind of transitioned her to a bowl, introduced her to birds, introduced her to gunfire. But every time I did that, food was around, because she is I told the breeder, I want the most food motivated female of your litter, because the females are not as hard-headed as the male Boykins. Generally. And the food motivation just makes it that much easier. Like, I'll do, we'll work for food,
They have
That's
the sign.
That's kind of what it was. And she did. She wound up being exactly what I wanted in a dog, which was a mostly couch potato, but we'll go hunting. We'll not run when guns go off.
That's all you can ask for.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not a professional hunter. This is I want to have fun too. And so if we're both having fun, then that's a successful day in the field.
Yeah, it's not always about the numbers.
No. and the older I get, the less it is about the numbers.
Yeah.
The body count just does not matter. I just want to
No,
take a bird or two,
I,
and
re-
I'll even watch them. Yeah.
I recall last year Tyler and I going on a good hunt, and we ended up getting, was it 3 or 4 birds
Yeah, 3 or 4.
in like an hour. And the limit here is 6. We could have went and got 2 more. But we had such a good hunt. It was fun. The dogs ended up getting some tracking in because we wounded a bird, and had a couple points with our dogs, and that was it. Called it a day. We had all day to hunt, and we hunted 1 hour.
Dogs
all
were happy, we were happy, and it's like,
Yeah. Dogs were happy. We were happy. It's all right. I'm gonna go home
like-
and spend time with my kids, my family.
yeah, let's not ruin the rest of the day, you know, after such a good hour. Let's leave it at that and end on a good note. And
Yeah.
it was football season too, so it's like go home and watch
Yeah.
some football,
Yeah.
you know. And
So y'all
yeah.
are. I'm not the best at. I only know because Southeastern football is a religion, or the SEC is a religion. I'm more familiar with this conference than I am the others. So you guys are Big Ten.
Big Ten, we're
Yep.
Hawkeyes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So we never win any bowl games.
Oh
We just-
man.
We just suck at them.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, it's a religion, especially in Alabama. Football is a religion down here.
Oh man, I can
Oh,
only
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah,
Can
it is
only
a
imagine.
religion. Saturdays are, but I'll still get
probably-
to the field over a football game and just have it playing in my I'll listen to it or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't beat that. They probably shut down Alabama on Saturdays.
Oh
The
yeah.
whole town's just shut down.
Yeah.
For
They don't
home
have a
games.
professional team or they do, I guess. Most professional players, or a good number of them, come from that team. So
Yeah.
Yep.
they're and then there's that rivalry between them and Auburn. I've got more Auburn friends than I do Alabama friends, but I do have some on both sides, and boy, that is a bitter rivalry.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
would
like
be-
Iowa State, man.
Yeah.
People are
Oh.
bitter about that up here.
It
Man.
is. It's so bad. It's just like, man, the nastiness between it is just sometimes.
And I could give a
Crazy.
shit less who wins. I just like watching the game.
Yeah. Now,
It's like,
yeah.
oh,
Now the
good game.
oh yeah. Now, I was going to ask you. So there's Iowa State. That's the biggest rivalry game you guys have going on.
Yep.
Are either you alum?
With Iowa?
Yeah.
No,
Nope.
we're not.
Okay.
So I just went to like a smaller university in Iowa. So I went to it's called Upper Iowa.
Okay.
Yep.
Just a smaller
I did-
university.
I did the same thing. Mine's called University of Butte.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah. So my wife is an alumni of Iowa.
Okay.
So she gets into it, a little bit, and she works for the University of Iowa as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
she's kind of always around that atmosphere. I love the first Saturday atmosphere of Iowa City, Iowa football. It's gets me every year. It's like the only weekend that I want to be there that I don't care if I'm there the rest of the time.
Nice. Oh, that's fun.
agreed.
Yeah. It's an interesting city once the sun goes under. and the
Nice.
college kids come out.
Yes,
Oh, I
yes,
bet.
it is.
It's interesting.
You guys get to go hunting together a lot?
We
Yeah,
try to.
we do.
Yeah.
We do most of our hunting together. We
Oh, nice.
got a few trips planned this year that we're going on. 3 of them to be exact.
Nice.
One's just in Iowa for a Friday Saturday type hunt, and then we're going to Wyoming with some buddies here in 2 weeks for sage grouse, and
Yeah.
then we go to Kansas in December together for hopefully get some prairie chickens.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. I need to make it out there and start hunting in do some walking in the prairies. I've never been to that part of the country.
Yeah.
I've been to Missouri. I've been to Missouri, which I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess Missouri. Yeah, Missouri's Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think
it
they have
is.
much for bird numbers there, though,
No.
compared
Yeah.
to if you headed further west to Kansas or a little bit up to Iowa. You got there's some decent numbers here. But
Yeah.
you continue heading west, you just have more opportunities for a lot of different species.
Less people.
Yeah.
Ergo,
Just
more,
and a
ergo
ton of
more
ground.
opportunities.
Yeah, a ton of public ground. Which
Oh,
is,
yeah. That's the thing about South Carolina. It's hard. Most of the land around, a lot of the land around here is private.
Yeah.
So you've got to,
Yep.
you got to lease, you got to get in a lease, or you got to, pay to play, and it's not cheap for sure. But yeah, we still got some good public opportunities. Our draw hunts for waterfowl are usually spectacular.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've still got some public hunting opportunities, but that's why I try to support these conservation organizations as much as I can, because
Absolutely.
through my time and through my membership and through my treasure, if I can manage, is because they're the ones doing the work, especially Quail Forever around South Carolina and Ducks Unlimited. Well, hell, the National Wild Turkey Federation headquarters is here too. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
it is. It's in Edgefield. I've been there. It's if you ever make it out this far east, it is beautiful. It's a beautiful facility. They got a really amazing sporting clays range. That's, I mean, really, it's all brand new, very up to date. Really nice sporting clays range. But yeah, it's in Edgefield, South Carolina. National Wild Turkey Federation
Nice.
headquarters is right. It's about an hour and 15 minutes from my house.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, man. So
Yeah. The more land, the better. More public land, the better.
I know, yeah. And backcountry hunters and anglers, same thing.
Yeah.
I support them as well. That's a great group of conservationists, what they're trying to do. Because gosh, you can't connect people to our sport unless you have an opportunity to show them what it's about. And to do that, you need land.
Yeah.
you need open
Yes,
ground.
you do.
And a lot of the organization stuff kind of overlaps a little bit, like,
Yep.
I mean, big country, you got rough grouse and all that, up in the woods. And I mean, so there's benefits to every one of these organizations having success
Oh yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah, so hopefully the listeners out there will if they're not already supporting them, will jump on board.
Yeah, let's hope.
Absolutely.
I know, man.
So,
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Gotta save them, save what we got.
Yeah, not making more land.
No, they're not. And this is, I know you guys are probably like, I wish this guy would shut up, but
Oh no, you're good.
Not at all.
but I'll say this, and then I will, be quiet for a little while. But everybody, we're looking at Mars, and in the future, like, what's our future going to be? This is the only habitable place in this universe that we know of.
Yeah.
And, that would support us and the species that habitate this planet. What are we going to do if we ruin it? What are we going to do if it's gone? If we misuse it and abuse it? We can't go to Mars. You can't have what we have on that planet. And this is what we've got. That's why we gotta do what we can to
preserve it. Yeah.
Yeah, preserve it, conserve it. There's a difference between preservation and conservation.
True. Yeah.
Yep.
Preservation, if you preserve everything, you conserve nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I know some people. Why are you burning that? Well, look at California, and that's why we burn down here. That's why we do what we have to do, because that's responsible stewardship of the resource.
Yep.
Is managing it for not just us, but for everything and for all the
Yep.
species, because we're connected to each other, us and them. They need clean water, so do we. They need,
Got that right.
so yeah. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I just
That's
wanted to
good,
plug
man.
that.
Yeah.
I felt the need to plug that.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
No, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been super good, man, and been great learning
Yeah.
about your writing and about how you got into it, and just there's a lot. I didn't realize there was as much opportunity in South Carolina as what there is,
Yeah.
with different
Yeah.
species and
I didn't
whatnot.
either.
Sounds like it'd be kind of a fun state to come out, check out someday, and
Yeah.
um,
If you're a whitetail hunter, we have one of the longest seasons for whitetail deer in the United States.
really,
Yeah, our whitetail deer season in the county that I live in starts in August.
holy,
Oh,
I know,
God.
man.
it goes till when?
I mean, look, I don't see how some guys do it. I mean, I'm like,
It's got to be like 100 degrees out.
oh, it is. It's miserable, but they do it.
Jeez.
They'll shoot a deer in velvet. You can do that here. It's legal. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Did not
Mhm.
know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have one of the longest whitetail seasons. Yeah. It's super long.
Dang.
Yeah. There's people already deer hunting down here.
Oh, that's crazy.
God love them,
Man.
because God, I wouldn't want to do it. Mosquitoes will carry you away.
Oh shit. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be bad.
Wind
So,
up with yellow fever or something.
Yeah, no kidding. So awesome. Well, Oliver, again, thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Definitely appreciate it. Look
Oh,
forward to
yeah.
reading more of your articles coming out,
Oh.
and just following along on Instagram with you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me
Thank you.
on and for letting me bend your ear and in the ear of the listeners. Thank them too for being a part of this sport and for bringing more people in. We need more
That's
people.
right.
We need to recruit
Yep.
more. And
Absolutely.
thank you for this opportunity, gentlemen.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, let's
Awesome.
do it again soon.
Yeah,
right.
that'd be great.
Yep. We'll talk to you later.
There, guys. You have a good one.